drop your box.
Alan, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Got a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in the world.
There's like something too much going on in the world right now, man. It's like, damn. It's like we recorded last Thursday, and in the last like 9 days, everything has happened.
Yeah,
Everything.
and you would think the year that we were having, nothing else could happen.
No, man. It's like we got hit with the corona. That was like on the forefront of everyone's mind. It still
Yeah.
is for a little bit. And then no, racism swoops right in. Racism came right back as it usually does. And got America talking about that again.
Racism came back and said, "Hold my knee. I'll show you a real epidemic. Yeah, I'll show you some real pandemic." Yeah, man.
This has been a bad racism where it's like, okay, that's like not be like, oh, racism is humorous, but it's like there's like a levity to like the racism at the beginning of the week, and then it took a really serious turn, and then it took a really bad turn by the end of the week, where people are actually frightened and things are starting to escalate. Where do we even start?
I think what we got to talk about what's going on in Minneapolis with the murder of George Floyd. You know what I'm saying?
We got murder. We're declaring it now. That was a murder.
Yeah. So the George Floyd was murdered by a police officer. I don't remember his name. Chauvin.
I did. It's funny. I didn't look up his name, and
it might be Derek Chauvin. We should probably know that. But
no, my thing is like, all right, we know he did it. I'm not here glorifying people. Maybe just for news-wise and journalism-wise, we should know it. But
I'm saying that's the only reason I would know it, because like before this conversation, I could give a fuck about his name. Okay, like I said, just reporting the news was going on. I mean, I figured I should know his name. But yeah, man, he murdered George Floyd on camera. He had his knee on his neck and he killed the man, and he wasn't charged with anything. And then since he wasn't charged, there was riots going on in Minneapolis. People were protesting, and it got crazy. They ended up setting buildings on fire, setting police stations on fire.
The police stations on fire. And to be clear, so George Floyd, he was at some sort of supermarket, and the reason the cops were called was because they thought there was some sort of forgery. His $20 bill, they thought it wasn't real or whatever. They called the cops, and from that point to the point of what we see in the video, there has been some sort of escalation. There's like 4 cops around. George Floyd is alive in the video. Like you mentioned, the officer is on his neck. No one's really stopping. George Floyd is asking to him for it to stop. Doesn't. And there's a bunch of different angles of the video too. It's actually, it's sad. Even just like recapping, it's like, damn, that's horrible. Like, he was looking right into the camera.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's you only need to watch like the beginning to know where it's gonna lead to, sort of thing.
I didn't even listen, man. I didn't watch any of it. You know what I'm saying? It was no, like, I know what happens. I see how it ends. I know how it's going to end. It's just, I get frustrated. I get sad. So it's kind of like, I just don't want to keep watching the shit, dog. Like, I know what's going on. I know what's happening.
I think and one thing we're going to talk about is like how social media has been handling it. And one thing that people have been on been on alert of now is, hey, we don't need to continuously show this footage. We don't need to continuously show Black people getting killed in order to get justice, sort of thing.
But
yeah,
that also does help get justice. So if, like, for Ahmaud Arbery's case in Georgia, he was murdered in February. Social media brought it to light in late April or whatever, and he was able to get some sort of justice. People were arrested. So it's not like, we shouldn't just post everything. But for me, I ain't gonna watch the murders. Like, I'm not gonna watch. That's just for me.
It seems like that's how it really hits people when you actually see it. But like at the same time, it's like, damn, do we have to see this as a reminder that we need justice? Like, can we just get justice sort of thing? We have to actually see visualizations of this dude and his family has to watch this over and over again. And the cop's name is Derek Cavin, I believe.
I don't know how to say it. I thought it was Chauvin. I don't fucking know.
It could be, right? Yeah.
But like I said, I think that sometimes though the footage is what gets people some justice. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like, yo, we shouldn't just show the videos. I think people should just use the video how they use them. Like some people will use it for rage to drive them to protest. Some people like me, I don't want to watch them because it fucks up my head. I don't want to keep seeing black men get. I don't want to keep seeing that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't watch it. But you use it for what you need it for. So I think it's useful that it does get shared. Where you just gotta move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's all.
Yeah. So when that's definitely happening right now, man. This is I want to say this is one of the bigger reactions to killing of an unarmed black dude that I've seen, particularly on social media. Right. But it's gone beyond that, man. Like you mentioned, the protests in Minneapolis, and that's extended. I know you're in your location. You saw some stuff.
Yeah, so I'm in Brooklyn right now, and like last night, you know what I'm saying, I rode past a protest. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what was going on. You know what I mean? So I rode past a protest, you know, for George Floyd, and I woke up this morning and I look at like the news, but not the news. I look at Facebook, and I see like
the same thing. Someone said the same thing.
Yeah. So I get on there and I see that there's like they set a NYPD van on fire. Well, women were getting tackled by the cops, like right at the protest where I rode past. You know what I'm saying? So like, shit, just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere. So not even just in Minneapolis, like wherever protest is going on, shit going down. You know, I did see protests in Atlanta. I seen them. I didn't see anything like crazy. They rioted. I didn't see that. But yeah, just protests everywhere. You know, just
there's been more organized protests coming on too. Like in Philly, I think one of the, I forget if it was the mayor or someone. They pretty much like spoke with the cops and was like, "Hey, listen, people are going to protest. Let them do that," sort of thing. Right. So you're seeing more of those pop up. Some of them, and you know, it's funny. We were talking to producer Pat before this and all that stuff. Made a good point that not all the protests are violent. Like it's not like they're attacking humans. Like, yeah, right. You're messing up a police car, but you're not harming anyone. It's the reaction to the protesters is what often leads to violence. I don't want to get too like conspiratorial, but did you see the whole thing with the cop? Like the one that like actually started the riot?
The cop that was busting out the windows at the autos? Yeah, I didn't see that one.
That's
I'm kidding. I saw
that's no, that was crazy because it's like it just shows like because people are like, oh, you know, that's such like a conspiracy thing when you think along those lines, but to see video footage of it.
Yeah, so I guess somebody, I don't even know what happened, but I guess somebody that he knew outed him.
His ex-girlfriend, he had her purple mask. I don't know why he did that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and you know, I should say, I want to note that this is not 100% confirmed. This is like World Star Hip Hop going to Facebook speculation, but
our news is real news. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what was real news is, and we'll get back to the cop thing in a second, but what was real news definitely was Donald Trump's reaction to this on Twitter. He made a statement.
Donald Trump, he's been mad for about a week now since Twitter said they was going to start putting fake news alerts on.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to start fact checking you. And then he was like, we're going to shut down social media. Which I'm not going to lie, there was a small part of me I was like, that would be nice. It would be nice if like a week social media was just shut down. But at the same time, that's a whole censorship thing and leads to dictatorship. So don't do that. But yeah, he went on to make a tweet on Friday morning amid many of the protests. He noted that once the looting starts, the shooting starts in regards to the cops coming out and getting at the protesters. And many saw this as a flat
Don't
out.
forget, you can't forget, Kirk. He called people thugs. He said
Oh
the
yeah,
thugs that are
yeah,
looting. That's
yeah.
what he
That's right.
said.
No, that's thank you because I forgot about that part.
That was
That's
a major part too.
it's wild, man. Like it's to go when you see the comparisons of like dudes being like, oh, I don't want to wear a mask. I'm gonna have my gun at Capitol Hill, armed guns, and they're not deemed as thugs. They're not even hit up by the cops.
Those are good people.
Yeah, they're just chilling. But then when people are again not killing anyone, protesting over something as horrible as this, uh, refer to them as thugs, and then I don't know, be a proponent of shooting them. I think that's crazy. That bummed me out.
You gotta call them thugs, so that makes it okay to shoot them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they do in this country. They label people as thugs. They try to demonize their character, so that way all the ill shit that happens to them seems okay. It doesn't seem so bad after all. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he's doing by calling people thugs. And honestly, I don't even think he even looked at the footage. It wasn't even like it was just black people. You know what I'm saying? Like it was everybody was out there. You know what I'm saying? Holding it down. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
well, it's probably like, yeah, if you're like an ally, you're also a thug. It's like just a blanket statement, all these thugs. I'm sure he had black people in mind. Like it's horrible how, I don't know, how people are getting like shot at now. And like, you see these footages of like people with their arms bruised up and like, with protesters, a lot of times they get permanent damage to like their brain, their bodies from like the brute force that the cops use.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me ask you this, man. Would you ever protest? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I would. Like
Yeah,
I might today. But the coronavirus is it's still here.
yeah,
So
that's
so
a
yeah, injustices and racism is here, but so is the Rona. And I am I ready to catch the coronavirus? No.
it's cool to see that a lot of people are wearing masks though.
Yeah,
That's one thing I was mad when I saw the cop. I was like, yo, you're awful and not wearing a mask. I was like, that's weird. That's weird. They're like, he should be fired just off that. Like, no, they're not wearing a mask. They're out here infecting our good people.
look, they people were getting arrested and beat up for not wearing masks.
Uh,
And you got him wearing the mask. You know what I mean? So, but look, I would definitely that would definitely protest. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I am very leery of the coronavirus, and I'm one of them people that still believe in it.
yeah.
So,
I know, right? People are like, people forgot. I'm like, no, still there. It was I don't want to say the best thing this, but made me, it brought some light to it was Obama made a statement. Obama came out and
what I seen that. What did he say?
he was like, hey, these are my thoughts on it. And he pretty much just like went about like, so he recapped some of the instances, and we'll talk about some of the more like the one in Georgia, Aubrey Amen, and then the Amy Cooper situation. It's like, well, a lot of times black people they can't do these things, and it shouldn't be seen as the normal. He kind of tied in the corona with it too, like we're in this rush to go back into the normal world, but none of this should be normal.
Right.
And it made you realize like, oh, his leadership is so much different than what we currently have. And I don't know, it put me at ease a little bit. I'm like, oh man, like even if presidents, like I'm sure they do awful things. And like a lot of times they are just like figureheads behind like the politics going behind them. Like he's a good representation. Like I'm okay saying that person's my leader.
Right. There was a lot of people giving Obama backlash because they're saying he didn't do enough for black people. But when you
Are you one of those people? Are you?
Oh yeah, I feel like there was a lot. Listen,
ongoing joke of proper Ebonics. What has Obama done for black people?
I mean, listen. But listen. Also, me, I don't complain about politics. Like I'll talk about it, I make jokes about things, but you won't catch me like complaining. Because I've said it many times on this show. Like my peace and my happiness comes from within. Comes from what's around me. So I try to control what I can control is what makes me happy. So I try not to let that outside shit like affect me. People really be getting mad, and we want to have fights over this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I try not to let politics, affect me that much. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. That smooth brother Obama was 10 times better than what we got now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like, yeah, he didn't give black people reparations, and he didn't stop injustices in this country towards black people. Like, he didn't do that, but like he did do a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, I want to make a bold statement right now. Shout to President Barack Obama. I'm going to drop one. I don't think we did a shout to Obama yet.
I fuck with Obama, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think that a lot of people might even like Obama more that he's not president. Yeah,
and people are wondering how much he's going to be active in this. And before we get into Biden, we didn't forget about you, Biden. Before we get into Biden, one thing, another aspect of this that I find very fascinating is social media response. And some people are saying there seems to be kind of like the idea and logic now is that if you're not being active on social media, if you're not being active in protesting, if you're not being vocal, then you're being complicit, and that's how these matters continue. I'm going to share my thoughts on it. I feel a little confused, honestly. Because this part of me, it's like, oh, well, I don't want any of this to continue, but I don't feel that me vocalizing it via social media platform helps. It doesn't feel like it would really come from my heart, because I don't think I don't know, I just don't really see much being done out of that. Yeah. And I feel like there's other ways to support. But then it's like, damn, do I go protest? As a Black and Indian dude, I'm like, what do I do in this? Do I have to do something in this? Do I have to necessarily have a role? Is it bad just being a bystander and just kind of like standing in the corner shaking my head? Do I risk my life? I don't know. What's your take on that?
I think that not saying any. So okay, this is what I want to say. Not saying anything on social media and saying something on social media doesn't mean jack shit. It doesn't mean jack shit. Okay, because for me, so I'll speak for myself because all I can do. When things start,
huh? Oh, you can speak for me. I'll get like if we're in a conversation with someone and they mention proper bucks, speak for me.
This is what Kirk feels. He feels like he just wants to talk about books online.
I don't talk about books.
I don't know.
Yeah, Kirk's been feeling like Jello lately, but we'll talk about that later.
Libraries.
Yeah, man, that's wild.
No, all right. So look, posting something and not posting something doesn't mean jack shit. Doesn't mean a damn thing. Okay, because for me, for instance, when my mental is fucked up and I can't feel like okay, so I want every post of mine, right? Because I'm a comedian. I legit try so hard for every single thing I put out to be funny, right? So I'm at a point where I'm trying to think of something like, okay, once I get past the I'm fucked up in my head part, like for like 2 days, I'd be like, man, I'm not feeling funny, so I can't think of anything sensible, relatable. I mean, funny about a topic. I just chill and I sit back in my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Because I really I don't, just because I'm not posting don't mean I'm not with the cause, you know what I'm saying? Like, because okay, so a lot of white people ask, like, what can white people do? You know what I mean? So I'm telling white people this now. For me, like, because they've been coming in my comments and saying things like, I love you, black man. We stand with you, black man. Like, cool, you copy and pasted a comment. Cool.
You copy and pasted 2 sentences.
So look, I want to say I appreciate that. I really do. But that don't do nothing for the cause. Like, you gotta address the history of this country. So the history of this country, right, is so fucked up. I don't think it can be fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got
permanently or by social media?
Permanently. So you got 400 years of slavery, oppression. You got Jim Crow. You got all this shit is going on today. Police brutality. You got all these things that are going on, and you try and tell me that you just because you put a status up, that's to mean you did something. That don't mean jack shit. So if just putting a status up doesn't mean anything, also mean not putting something up don't mean nothing. So, but if you are gonna post about it, that's where people are getting in trouble at. Because like you like people were saying fucked up shit. Like people were like, oh, they shouldn't be rioting. Like, well, they shouldn't have killed that man.
Yeah.
Like, so like,
I think it's a lot of people I feel as if they recognize there's a difference in the two of like, oh yeah, rioting versus killing someone. Like, oh, like you're ruining your neighborhood sort of thing. I feel like it's just sort of me sort of thing. I feel like a lot of times they recognize that isn't truly the matter in hand. It's just kind of a way to disguise them being complicit. It's like, oh, well, they're ruining their neighborhood. They're doing something wrong. Perhaps I don't need to take an action. I don't know. I find it hard at this point for you not to see, or at least have some level of empathy of like, oh yeah, no, there's people aren't necessarily rioting right now in the sense of like, oh, I want justice. Some people are rioting because that's just raw emotion that they're having right now. Of course, people want solutions, but like when you have something like this happen continuously, I was thinking the other day of like, for every 20 riots that you see, or rather no, for every like one riot that you see, there's like 20 instances of injustice prior to that. So it's not just like, oh, we're mad at this one thing, let's go mess up a target. It's like, no, it's the 400 years ongoing, having this being recycled over and over, just like this is probably going to happen again. It gets frustrating, and I think a lot of times that energy, it kind of just manifests into, all right, let's really tear this down if the system isn't really here for us.
That's what it is. That's what, the quote that's been going around, the Martin Luther King quote, that the riots are the voice of the unheard. That's the quote that's going around. Like, that's really what it is. People are upset, they're frustrated, so taking it, and the silent protest is not getting no love. They're not effective sometimes. So sometimes you gotta set a target on fire so somebody can get charged with murder. Like listen, man. Even without the hundreds of years of oppression that this country has put upon Black people, right? Just take the instance of George Floyd's murder. That alone is enough to set that city on fire. Like, that alone, like, if that man doesn't get justice from that video of the cop killing him, that's enough. That one thing is enough to set the whole city on fire. Let alone the hundreds and hundreds of years of shit that's been going on. So like, I hate people. Like, people can miss me with the whole, well, they shouldn't tear down their community. It ain't their community. Listen, the owner of Target was not there. He wasn't burning Target. It's not his.
Yeah, I don't get how people get more upset over Target. I'm like, oh, you mean that multi-billion-dollar company that could just build another one?
They got insurance. Like,
yeah, that was kind of wild. And breaking news here on Proper Ebonics, the officer Derek Caban, his wife has filed for divorce. And if you guys haven't already known, he's been charged with a third-degree murder and manslaughter. And some people are pretty upset over that. I think it's a start, but if you see the video, I don't know. I don't want to like jump the gun and be like, oh no, it was definitely like, he's the absolute worst.
It cannot be first degree though.
How come?
Unless it was premeditated, meaning he went there to kill George Floyd.
But that's the thing. The argument with that is like, so what? He was on him for like good 5 minutes, sort of thing. Where it's like, after like those first 3 minutes, when you don't ease up, is there any premeditated thoughts with that?
No, that's nah. You can't. You have to prove that he premeditated, that he thought about this murder and killing him before he got there. Like what ensues during, that's all emotions. That's all. Yeah, you can't really say that. I mean, it's fucked up. You can tell she killed that man on purpose, but he didn't premeditate. He didn't think about it beforehand, unless they can prove he did. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I did see something I did see something that said, I don't know how true this was, but I did see something that said George Floyd and his cop actually did know each other beforehand. I seen something that said that they both were security guards at some establishment at one point.
That makes the story too damn crazy for me to comprehend.
If that's true, now you can start thinking about first degree.
Damn,
you know what I'm saying?
Wild. I did not know about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Now I don't know.
They're going to be like, well, they grew up together. The cop, he was adopted by George's family, and I was like, I'm glad that happened. You mentioned before the idea of ways that social media, whether you post or you don't post, it doesn't really matter so much. Here at Proper Ebonics, let's provide you some resources as to ways that you could help out. So there's the Minnesota Freedom Fund, an organization out in Minnesota that it pretty much has funds for lawyers to help people. A lot of the protesters, they've been needing financial help with that. It looks as if George Floyd's family has started a GoFundMe, and if there's, we'll post the link on there because there's a few different ones on there. There's No Star Health Collective.
Did you see that Kaepernick is going to pay for
that? Yeah, that was cool. Bless you. Trauma's not going to stop me from blessing my man. Bless you, sir. Bless you.
Yeah, but Kaepernick paying for some of the people lawyer fees that was protesting. He a real one, bro. He a real one.
Yeah, no, man. And he's been kind of like chilling in the cut, just like silent over the last like few years. He's like, and then now it's like, all right, when this happens, I'm gonna help out. I respect that.
That answers your question.
Yeah.
Does posting mean you gotta post it? He hasn't been posting.
Yeah.
But he's been supporting and fighting the cause for years. He hasn't been posting. He's been moving in silence. So you ain't gotta be out there like, you ain't gotta be on Facebook like, I support my black friends. You ain't gotta do that. You just gotta address your privilege when you see it. You gotta recognize the history and why we are where we're at as a country. I think those are the first two things that white people can do to help. And like, yeah, if you want to post your Facebook statuses to make yourself feel better, be my guest. But like, you gotta address your privilege and remember the history, like why we're here, and then we can all move forward. Like people get so wrapped up in like, what can I do to help, bro? That's the beginning. The beginning of this country is the beginning of fixing this shit. Like you gotta start there. You know what I'm saying?
Also, like recognizing the gravity of the situations. I think when I see a lot of comments that focus on the protesting and the rioting, and to me, that sounds like they're not fully understanding how heavy this is, and what if it's a reflection off of. It just seems like, oh, well, here's an incident that seems bad, sort of thing, and not like, oh, this is just an ongoing thing that has never stopped. A lot of people walk the streets, their daily lives, and this is something that weighs on them throughout their whole lives. And this is just like another notch on that. So I think that's a part that can be helpful too. And I'm thinking now we're mentioning how people reacted and what white people can do. We saw the opposite of what white people can do on Monday, on Memorial Day. The Central Park incident with the bird watch. I love he was watching birds. I was watching birds.
I thought that was you behind the camera.
Yeah, you just see me. Miska, could you put your dog on a leash?
That's a good bird noise.
Thank you. Yeah, seriously, sometimes I just stand outside my window and do that noise. They walk over. It's really nice. I feel like Mary Poppins. Anyways, so on Memorial Day, Central Park, there was an incident where a man was watching birds, as people do, and there was a woman walking her dog without a leash. The man, who was black, he asked the lady to put her dog on a leash. She did not, and then the man began to record. The woman, who I'm hesitant on releasing her name, just from you already know her name if you're at this.
Amy Cooper.
And from listening to Alan, you know her name now. So,
I'm not hesitant.
Yeah, I'll discuss my feelings on it. But so she She pretty much said that he started recording, and she was like, I'm going to call the cops and tell them that an African American man is threatening me and my dog. And he was like, I'm asking you to put your leash on the dog. So then we see the recording, her calling the cops, making that statement. There's an African American man threatening me and my dog. Yeah, and then so a day later, the footage is released. This woman later on was fired from her job. They took her dog away from her. She relinquished the dog to the adoption agency that she took it from. Yeah, that one was wild. That one was like, when I mentioned the beginning of this episode, like the levity, I was like, all right, that's horrible, but justice is kind of served on that one. And just the ridiculousness of that situation in comparison to what happened the next day, where I was like, oh, that's a bummer.
She had to rehome her dog.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, the big thing with that is that, it's funny because you see the video and she's clearly out of it. Like, if you told me she was on some sort of drug, I'd be like, maybe. Like, she's straight up, like, you'd see her.
Nah, bro, don't give that to her. Don't do that. That woman was coherent, and she did that and knew what the fuck was going on. I never once thought she was on any kind of drugs. It never crossed my mind.
My thing is like how frantic she was. And this is not me trying to play devil's advocate or having sympathy for her. I think it's horrible. And then her natural reaction was to do that because she knew how much of a threat that would be to him. And we talk about check and privilege and all that stuff. That was pretty much her recognizing, oh yeah, no, I can do this as a white lady, and it would have this effect on black dude who is watching birds.
Yeah.
I will never get tired of the idea of someone calling the cops on a bird watcher.
No, like, he's the least threatening black man you're gonna find. Is a nigga looking for fucking birds. Okay. So like you got dudes looking for birds and dudes that frequent libraries. Like, those like the least threatening people.
Yeah, man. Someone may call the cops on me. I'm gonna have to like just pull out my books.
Bro, I'm telling you, I was literally sitting there like, if that's fucking Kurt, I'm gonna snap.
Well, I had Monday off. I wanted to go to Central Park. I haven't been in New York in a few months. He did the right thing though, man. That's because imagine if he didn't record. Imagine if he didn't record and they call the cops. That could have been him. A Tuesday situation could have happened on Monday again.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did the cops ever come?
I think they came, but everyone had left at that point. There were no charges filed. I don't know if there was any interaction with the cops. I think once she put the leash on, which is what his request was, he stopped recording. He was like, okay, well, that's pretty much what I wanted you to do. It's great. It's nuts. Seeing that her life, I'm not going to say it's done. I don't think it's done, but like, she's going through and again, this is not me being sympathetic. There's part of me that I guess maybe when I hear the idea of someone being publicly shamed, there's always a part of me that feels bad regardless of who they are, because it's just like, oh damn, imagine what that must be like. However, the actions that led to it could be justifiable in a lot of ways. I'm just not I'm not a big proponent of public shaming. However, this one I think has done more good than bad. I just don't think we should be like, yo, she's done forever. Let's talk about reform and rehabilitation rather than banishing someone.
Every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah.
That's just the law of physics. I believe in karma, and when you do bad things happen to you. Her life isn't over, but she got fired from her job. Can you imagine being in a board meeting and with a company, and we're like, okay, here comes our senior advisor, and she walks in, and you're a black man. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
So it's kind of like that company, okay, you did this, so something has to be done to you. Her life isn't over. She'll get another job. Her name's Amy Cooper. There's a million of those in this world. You know what I'm saying?
True, yeah.
But like,
shout out to the other Amy Coopers trying to do well. Shout out to other Amy Coopers who are getting a buttload of hate mail right now. They're trying to do their best. They're going through a rough time. and this shit has to happen.
I always think about that shit. Like when stuff happen, when like bad things happen when your name. Like I'd be mad if shit somebody named Alan Massenberg do something crazy. You know what I mean?
There's been a story of Alan Massenberg killing Lopsa in his backyard. He's in Alabama, but here's a resource in Pennsylvania that you could contact. Maybe they're related. Yeah, man. I don't think there's been any Kirk Griffiths crimes. Exactly. Not to say that's even my name. Don't worry about my name.
Like even like tornadoes. Like if your name is Katrina, like your whole life is fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Katrina's had a rough time in 06.
You know what I mean? Like you forever destroyed New Orleans.
Yeah, no. Even if I feel like a lot of people got their nicknames afterwards. I feel like there was a spike in Katrina strippers after Hurricane Katrina. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna twirl shit up. Like it's just gonna
coming to the stage. They're always wet, Katrina.
Stupid. Yeah, man. So that was a big thing that happened, and even before that, man, we got hit with another one. Like I said, man, Vice President Joe Biden. Did you see his interview on the Breakfast Club? Do you see the thing?
I watched it. It was 18 minutes long. I was like, I got 18 minutes. I got 18 minutes. He did a lot of talking.
I know. So I wanted to watch it before because I saw what the main story was, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to see this being twisted. I want to see it come out of his mouth and what the context was. And you're right. He talked a lot. Charlemagne, I feel like, is a great interviewer. He was going to give him that platform, and Biden he just went straight to the talking points, straight into it. It was like he wasn't even listening to Charlemagne. So that was disappointing. But how he ended it.
So what did he say? What did he say? So
how he ended it. So he kind of cut Charlemagne off for like the 18th time. It was like a cutoff per minute situation. And at the end of it, he's like, listen, if you don't know who to vote between myself and Trump, then you ain't black. And then he rolls back and laughs. Like it was such a casual, like when someone says something crazy right before they're leaving. It was one of those where it's like, you're not going to elaborate on that.
So this is the thing. I don't know if you understand this, but I feel like that was premeditated. He couldn't wait to drop that line. He was like, this is the one that's going to get it. I'm pretty sure. Because or during the interview, he was like, oh, I got to say this. Because you don't just end with that. I mean, that's usually, your clothes are usually your best joke. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he thought that was his best line.
Yeah, and perhaps it was.
All right, so look. He said, if you think about voting for Trump, he said, if you don't know who to vote for, you ain't black, right? So pretty much saying, like, black people shouldn't vote for Trump. Now, do you agree with him?
Do I? I think black people have their own agency, and they don't need a white politician telling them what to identify with.
That's a great answer, Kurt. I like that. I'm gonna say I think I find it very hard to believe any black person should vote for Donald Trump. That's I'm gonna leave it like that.
Do you feel they should have the right to do it though?
People have the right to do whatever they want to do, but like there's just certain things like this. There's just like he said, if you are Pat said, if you are a person, period, you shouldn't vote for Trump. Right. I mean that's a good point. I mean, but I think that damn, it's just so hard. Like, so look, the people know. Like, I'm not a huge, I don't fucking vote. You know what I'm saying? But like,
there's documented history.
I don't fucking vote. So it's kind of like, damn, how do I explain it, yo? It's like, yeah, okay. He was. I think that the line he said, if I said that, everybody be like, yup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely.
It's about how it's pretty much about how he said it and the blatant like he
disregard almost.
Not like he deserves it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, he had a lot of that attitude with what he said before. Like, I've done this. Come on, man. He's very much.
The part that the whole, I guess, the Democratic Party has is that like, well, you are black, so you gotta vote for us. So it's kind of like that. That part is the part that make.
Yeah, I don't think
that's arrogance. That's arrogance, and that's just you feel entitlement.
It's exactly that. It's just I don't know. It feels like another form of racism in a way, how I view it. Of like the fact that you can The polls show that like a lot of Black women supported Biden and kind of propelled him to the place that he is right now. So to come out and just be very much like, I don't know, it's kind of like condescending a
Yeah.
little bit. It was like, just like, oh, come on, man, you've seen the numbers.
Yeah.
At the same time, he's clearly not in tap with what's happening right now. Like even with the Charlemagne, like he clearly wasn't. It wasn't a conversation. It was just like, all right, let me do my talking points, and the interviewer will say some things, and I'll make sure just barrel right through it. It wasn't a conversation. It doesn't feel like he's really tapped into anything. So for him to say something like that targets people's identity and says, essentially saying you shouldn't have a choice. Despite what anyone may think, I think that's cool that you should have the choice. Like you could be a Black person that is for Trump. You could be that. It doesn't sound great. Sure, it's not necessarily something that we roll with, but you should have the right to. And for him to say something like that, to speak, on our race like that, I didn't rock with that. It didn't take me until like day 3 where I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. That's kind of like once like because I was like, that's annoying, especially like as a Black and Indian dude. Like you get that a lot of like people telling you like what you should and shouldn't do and all that stuff. So like it got me riled up. But then a few days later, I was like, all right, that's humorous. Now I see the absurdity in that.
Okay, so like I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and get mad at him about. I'm not gonna get mad. Like it wasn't. It was definitely he felt entitled. It was the meaning. It was all those things, but it was also probably a little true. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like truth hurts. Simple. I mean, like truth hurts. I mean, who'd you? Trump said a lot of fucked up shit about Black people. That wasn't even true.
I don't classify this as like truth. I think this is him trying to make voters feel bad about not voting for him. I think he was on a Black platform where he had the chance to really relate, and not even relate, but hear what Black people are saying via Charlemagne. And he chose to just kind of pontificate the whole time. And then kind of at the end of it to have that in there. I thought it was disrespectful.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Okay, maybe it's not true, but I find it very hard for Black people when they vote for Trump. Like I find it very hard to look at them as like, oh, you Black. That's okay. All right, so I see what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. I don't think I looked at it like that before. But I do believe it ain't true, but I fucking rock with it sometimes. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like
no, I get it. Like it's like voting for Trump doesn't necessarily align with what we identify with Blackness in a lot of ways. And I think there's a lot of that's true too. However, I also think a part of Blackness is being able to be yourself. And whether that's be the Clayton Bigsby situation where you're a part of the Klan, don't do it, but it's America. You have the right to. You confuse individual, so I think you have the right to. And it was the entitlement of Biden. Yeah. That's what bothered me, because it's like, I don't know, you're in that position of power, and that's how you choose to go. And I don't feel very excited going into the 2020 elections.
That's
stuff
why.
Like that is because of it.
That's why I don't be rocking with politics like that, bro. It's like they give you two options. You about to feed me two things I don't like eating. You know what I'm saying? White men. So it's just like
yeah, time out. You wearing a ring?
Am I wearing a ring?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, it's a pen. Okay.
It's a pen. I use a pen because I write down the topics and I make notes, and I'm into it here, Kirk. Unlike you, jeez.
Yeah. No, I woke up. We started at 11. I woke up at 10:50. I was like, oh no. I woke up at 9 feeling all confident. I was like, all right, I'm gonna make breakfast. I go for a jog. And then your boy shut his eyes and then woke up at 10:50. So yeah, no, I appreciate you writing down. I thought you had a ring. I was like, you don't seem like a jewelry person.
You know what's funny? I'm not, yo. I don't rock jewelry. Like I don't know jewelry. I like I just don't like. It's just not my twist. I ain't gonna lie. In middle school, I like jewelry. I used to buy fake chains from mall kiosks. That was my thing in middle school. I used to walk around with a chain with like a shiny A, and my girlfriend of the month, she would wear it too.
That's right. Weird name tag. That's
y'all did that. Y'all did that at your school?
No, but I remember you telling me about it. No, my thing was specific. I showed it through belt buckles. I would get like very like the fake diamond belt buckles with like the cash money. One was just like a large eagle, just like a large eagle with me like throwing the rock up everywhere. It was nice.
I remember the girls used to get the nameplates. They would say like juicy on the belt buckle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like pretty.
Yeah, Samantha, you're like 12. What are you getting juicy for? Go back in your room. Yo, if I see my daughter rocking a juicy, I'm going to ask her where she got it. I'm like, damn, I'm trying to get one of those too. I'm going to be a juicy dad. Juicy dad.
You're going to
be a juicy dad. I'm going to be thick.
Please don't be a juicy, thick dad.
I'll be a nice, juicy dad. I think a juicy dad, he's sex positive, he's thick, duh. And I don't know, he still got his groove. He's just juicy. Yeah, my dad, he got juice. He got braids. I saw a Facebook photo. My dad just got braids.
Well, your dad got like cornrows.
Yeah, he got like real stylish one where like they kind of go into the middle and it leads like kind of a small man bun on top. My dad's got the juice.
Yo, one time I used to have cornrows like in middle school. That was like everything went down in middle school, and my mom did my hair that way. She did the braids around. I had like one little braid like coming out.
Oh, I was like, yo, Dad, like a little rascal character.
A little pigtail, little baby penis.
I'm gonna make that comment saying like, yo, Dad, you got the baby penis hair. Like what? I left the comment on. I was like, Dad, this is a wild look. I respect it. And he's like, thank you, my handsome son, Kirk Griffiths. He always puts my full name in there, and his name's Kirk Griffiths as well, so it's always confusing.
Oh, you a junior?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that. You was KJ.
Yeah, KG Records.
They call you KJ?
They just call me Lil Kirk. I correct them now when I'm on the phone. They're like, is this Lil Kirk? I'm like, no. Lil Kirk's no longer. You think Lil Kirk has his voice? Juicy Kirk.
Yeah.
Call me by my right name.
You went through puberty and you got juicy.
Yeah,
juicy long arms.
Right now. I don't got braids. I ain't no little boy. Yeah, shout out to my juicy dad.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, man. So that's a lot of stuff been popping off. That's,
you see they opening up live comedy shows. They're trying to make it come back.
I wanted to touch base with you on that. That's they're starting to do it, man. I think our buddy Andrew Hambone. I was always about to call him Hamilton. I was like, is that his actual name? And I was like, no, it's Hambone. I'm like, that's not his actual name. Our buddy Andrew had a show last night in his backyard, and some people were doing IG lives of it. Have anyone hit you up for any shows yet?
Yeah, I've been hit up. I turn them down.
Yeah,
and I'm not. I ain't ready. I'm not ready to have people ha 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 all in my face. Yeah. I'm not ready to have them spewing their corona spores at me. One of the so people are saying like they are setting up like socially distant tables. You know what I'm saying? So like the audience isn't near each other and things like that. One major concern of mine that I had is like, are we all bringing our own microphones? And how is that working? You know what I mean? Like, do you wear gloves?
Test runs of it first. You want to see how the first shows are going to go before you get out there.
Yeah, I said it already. I've said this months ago. I'm 2 weeks after everybody else. Once everything's good to go, I'm 2 weeks after. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm good. I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? So producer Pat was on the show.
Oh yeah.
What did he say? He was on the show last night.
That was an impromptu show. We had 5 people total outside, and we were streaming on IG and Twitch.
So what about how does the like the microphone situation? Like I got a microphone. I can bring my microphone and plug my shit in before and after my set. Yeah. Hey, I can do that.
Yeah, I'm bringing a megaphone. I'm bringing a megaphone, a face shield, and some condoms. I just want to give that back to the people, sort of thing. Yeah, no, no one's asked me to do a live show yet. I don't think if they're like, hey, we're considering a live show in August outdoors, would you be interested? I would. I wouldn't confirm it, but I'd be like, I would be interested. Keep me in the loop. I don't want to not do stand up again. And if the right measures are being taken, I'd be game. Even if it means bringing my own megaphone or microphone,
Right.
microphone now. Yeah, I would be game for it. And by then, we'll see a bunch of different trial runs and how other shows have responded and all that.
Right.
You looking at your phone while I'm breaking my heart down?
What do you mean? I was looking up a thing.
I'm confiding in you, telling you my thoughts.
You ain't had to bring up that I had my phone out for 1 second.
It's video. They see that you have your phone out.
You can see this? How you know? How you know?
Because we're on a streaming service.
You can't see my hands. You can't see my hands.
Stop looking at your hands while I'm breaking my heart down then.
Jeez. You're not breaking it. I would confirm shows in August. I would confirm. By August, I'm good to go.
I no longer want to talk about shows. I'm beefing about you.
No, man. I had a notification, man. You got to remember, when you got kids and shit, it's hard to be away from the world.
You're right. I shouldn't be so hard on you about the whole phone situation. I got in my bag a little bit.
I'm sorry. I understand you're pulling your heart out, spilling your heart out to me right now, but I'm sorry. And like, producer Pat said, don't play the kid card. Listen, it gets me out of situations a lot.
That wasn't a kid. That was some person named Thunder.
I use it all the time. There's actually somebody named Big Meech. But
all right. Yeah, shout out to Big Meech.
But look, for real though, I really want to talk about this though. By August, I feel like, because we all know how coronavirus is going. We all know what this is looking like. I feel like by August, I'm definitely ready. I'm probably ready by July. But like the shows in May, I ain't ready for it. While Zoom shows are still going on.
Yeah.
Like the Zoom shows are going on for a reason.
Yeah. I got one on I may rope you in on this one. I have one on Thursday where they want me. I'm shout out to Janir Hankerson at Steel Stacks. So it's a show where you have to get a friend, a family member, and just a random social media follower, which I don't know what that means, but sure. And pretty much they ask them questions about me or something like that. It seems like a lot of involvement. Like I gotta find 3 people, set their Zooms up and all that. Yeah. But we'll see how it turns out. That's my plug too. Thursday. Check me out at home. That's gonna be the show. It's gonna be cool.
Listen, you can rope me in. I'll do it. I'm not busy. But yeah, like last night, man, I did a Zoom show. It was like there was people on that joint too. I got paid cash. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, like, I'm gonna rock with the Zoom shows until I feel comfortable. Like I'm just not ready. I need to So how people, when they're going on tour, they ask they get a rider, of things they want in their dressing room. I need a rider of what precautions you're taking. Just tell me a list of precautions. Like, how are we doing it? Like, that's part of it now. How much time am I doing, and how are you keeping me safe?
Yeah, it's like, all right, how many latex gloves are you going to have? I need at least 3 microphones. I need a bowl of M&Ms, all of them blue, and Lysol wipes. That is going to be on my rider.
Listen, Lysol wipes are going to be, I'm telling you, the whole idea of all of us 5 comedians on the show all using the same microphone. Ew. That's the part that I'm worried about. I'm not too concerned about the audience and the social distancing of them, because I'm pretty sure people are going to have people set up far apart and pushed away from the stage. Like, I'm not too concerned about that part, but it's just the interaction with the comedians and then the microphone pass like that. I don't know.
I feel like the people need us. I'll say it right here. People need us. People need to laugh. They need to come out. They've been all in their homes. They've been fighting with their spouses. They've been fighting with their children. They've been doing things in their backyard, trying to entertain themselves. They need to come out, and they need people to entertain. We're the entertainers. I feel kind of an obligation right now. I need to use my comedic superpowers and bring smiles on these faces. That said, I'm not going to do any of the make shows. No, not doing that. No. Just in case you thought that's what no. So August though, this hero's back.
Kirk back. I'm telling you, I'm be back before August. But the May shows. Listen, I've been saying this too. I don't even know. Listen, price is going up. Okay, the price is going up. I'm not coming out here for your 2 drinks, bro. I'm not risking my life for it.
Yeah.
And listen, it's not happening. I'm cool. For real.
I was
like,
already selective about the shows that I did anyway.
yeah.
So it was like, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to drive 3 hours for 10 minutes.
So, okay, that's you word things the way I probably should.
What do you mean?
I'm going to be more selective with my shows. I should have said, the price is going up, motherfucker. That's not what I mean. I'm not charging more. My rates, I'm just being more selective. Listen, you're like my Luther, my good translator. Not my translator. Yeah, I need that.
That's wild. Yeah, man, I'm about to dip. I got things to do. I got books to read. I got ropes to walk. Don't worry about what that means. What are you getting into for today?
I might end up at the protest. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching from a distance or something, man. Cause I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, be like the Lysol wipe fairy or something like that. Just throw a random hygiene equipment out there and like things that can help protesters. Maybe not that, but if you have just like water, be like the water boy and like just walk around just like sprinkling water on people. It's hot out too. It'd be nice.
Listen, man, it is hot. It's the sun's out. There's no clouds out. Nothing like that. That light you see glowing, it's just the natural sunlight.
Yeah, protesters need some water, and Alan, you could be that water boy.
I don't know, bro. That shit. I just told you I ain't trying to do comedy. You think I want to just?
You mean you don't want to spray a bunch of water on police officers? And that probably isn't a good look to spray water on protesters. It's not a good look historically.
No, it's definitely. It's usually shown in black and white.
Yeah, mist them with some water. Get a spray.
Yo, did you see the lady in the wheelchair outside of Target trying to stop people from looting? Did you see that?
I didn't watch it, but I saw it. I made a mistake of opening World Star Hip Hop, and that was like the first thing I saw.
Bro,
yeah,
that was the crazy. She was literally stabbing people. Lady in a motorized wheelchair was blocking the entrance of Target so people couldn't loot, and she started stabbing people. So they started spraying her with the hydrant. What's that shit called? The fire extinguisher.
The
fire extinguisher.
Oh no!
It was crazy.
Yeah, those things are toxic. I learned it the hard way.
Get out the way when they try to loot. Get out the way.
Damn, man. Well, we'll see how everything turns out. Let's see if the world's still here next week. Thanks for listening, all that stuff. If you're looking for something, we didn't do proper suggestions or anything like that. But if you're looking for something that could, be a means of entertainment while being educational in some form, do the right thing. Do the right thing by Spike Lee. I think you're going to see a lot of what's in that movie reflect what's happening in life right now, and just overall a phenomenal film. I want to say my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
So, yeah.
I never knew that. I think I might have known that.
Yeah, it's my go-to for a few, and I rewatched it recently on February 15th, 2020. It's a solid movie. I may pop that in. Who knows? I was thinking The Godfather, but I may do the right thing.
It's definitely relatable to today's times. You know what I'm saying? So shit that's going on. Definitely watch the movie. My favorite movie is Forrest Gump. I don't know if that has to relate to anything that's going on today, but I love that fucking movie.
Yeah, watch Forrest Gump too if you want just some lightheartedness. You want something hitting your heart. We recommend the escapism of cinematic adventures here at Property Ebonics, so we recommend that. Al, man, be safe and all that stuff. Try not to break your toe. I'm going to be around here figuring out what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah, we're out of here. Thanks for tuning in.
Property Ebonics.